Alright guys, we got 5 of the 6 out. All bolts are the same length, and put them to the side. And we got one more that's right here in the front. Take that out. Okay, what the heck is holding it now? Oh, I probably got something but a bolt left, not a piece of a bolt left off over there. What I'm gonna do is, just in case this held on my gasket, let's get a pry bar just in case. Let's see if we can do it. When you change these gaskets, make sure you put back metal gaskets, MLS gaskets, not that cheap stuff that you get from Felpro and all. Alright, so let's...
Sometimes multi-layer steel.
Oh, they do? Of course, I'm having a hard time because of all that mangling we did down there. Alright, let's go look on the side of that tire. Let's look over here. Oh, man. I might have to jack it up. Can you see any?
I need a light. Wait, let me see if I can burn it.
Oh no, but I need the light too.
Oh. Oh, okay. It's starting to come apart.
Okay, let's go back up here. Take it out of the car. You know what? I should have brought it more forward. This way. You guys better pay attention to how I'm coming bringing this out, because it looks like it's a pain. Okay. I'll get the rest of our gasket. Now that we got this out, so what we're going to do is heat that up and then take those out and get new ones. So let's put that to, okay, before we do that, look up here in the engine. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. As I said before, a lot of guys just take it off from the head and use a pry bar and bend that back. You see those? See those head bolts? 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, when you go to torque this down, how are you going to get a proper torque if that exhaust manifold is in your way? There's no way you can do it. No way. So, don't listen to them guys who do that. Alright, the next thing we're going to do, guys, we got a ground strap right here. A braided strap. Looks like it's bolted to the head. What we're going to do is take a 10mm, the 10mm nut right there. We're going to unbolt it from up here. and put the nut back on it. Alright, so let's do that next. Alright, the next thing we're going to do, remember this crossover pipe I was telling you about? Let's get that out of the way. Two 10mm bolts. One right here. And one right here. Now be careful taking this pipe up. Because it does stick inside the head. You want to make sure you don't break that off or nothing. Alright, we got that pipe up. If you want, you can put your bolts back in there. And now is a good time to show you guys the party line. Let's go over here, because this is going in the party line. Now, as you can see right here, we have a line of parts. The last one we took off, I'm gonna set right here. Now, so every time we took off a part, like right up at the top, you can see the engine cover. Every time we took off a part, we put it in the line. So when we go back to putting this job back together, we start from this end, or whatever is the end of the line, and work our way back. This way you don't forget, say, oh man, I forgot to put this on. You got to take everything apart. You can leave this car apart for years. As long as the party line stays intact, you will always be able to put this back together. And this is why I like to call it, dude, that's how Trump do. No. Oh yeah, yeah, like this. Oh God, Trump funny. And this is why I call it the party line. Alright guys, now before we move on, what we're going to do is get us an air line, an air chuck, and we're going to blow all this junk out of here. Some of it may go down into the cylinders a little bit, but let's take the air hose and blow it down there as well before we start actually removing the valve cover. So let's get all this blown away. Alright, now that we got all that cleaned up, the next thing we're going to do is we got 4 8mm bolts right here. Those bolts are holding on the valve cover. So let's get our 8mm, and I got a deep. You can also use a 5/16. And let's take all those bolts. You don't have to take them out. You can just, let me see, wait a minute. Yeah, you can just leave them right in there, just like that. Alright, we got all the bolts loose. Take your valve cover, take it right off. And this is the one that was messed up. I think this one as well. Alright, so let's put this to, we're going to put that to the party line. And the next thing we got is, actually, let me see some guys. No, I don't, never mind. We have 8mm bolts on all the rockers. Take your same thing. Unbolt it. Leave it, you can leave it in there. Just make sure it's loose like that. And let's do all 16, no, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. All 8 of them. Alright, we got all of them loose. Now if you look below the rockers, you can see a little metal piece right here. That's a whole, this whole arm right here. So what you're gonna do is grab both ends of this arm and pick the whole assembly up, just like that, and put this whole assembly to the party line. Put this over here for a second. Now I know a lot of people will tell you the number of the rockers, the push rods. But guys, you don't have to. All the push rods on this is the same length. So we got 3, 2, 1. All of them are the same length, guys. You don't have to do that mess. It ain't gonna make no bit of a difference. Alright. So let's take all of them out. If you go order a push rod right now, all of them going to be the same size. Now I'll tell you what, look, we're going to put it over here. And here. Look at it. They're all the same size. Same length. Not going to matter. Alright? So, get that mess out. Alright, let's put these to the side and let's get ready to unbolt our head. Alright, there are 15 bolts holding this cylinder head on. You got the 5 at the bottom. 15mm, Now in the middle, you have
15 millimeter?
15 millimeter bolts.
Okay.
In the middle, you're gonna have another 5 that's 15 millimeter, and you're gonna let like 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5 will be inside there. Then on the top half, you have 5 10 millimeter bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what we're gonna do here is take off the little ones first. So we're gonna be using a 10 millimeter deep 3/8 drive and a 4-inch 3/8 drive extension. We're gonna go ahead, pop it loose, pop them, break them loose. And then when you break them loose, go ahead and take them out, okay? Let's get those 5 out of here. All right, guys, came across a little dilemma right here. This last 10 millimeter bolt is kind of difficult to get to because of this bracket is in the way. Now, with this bracket is held on by a 15 millimeter bolt that's right, you can see my finger right back here. It's right back here. So I'm going to use a 15 millimeter socket, 3/8 drive with my 3/8 drive ratchet, and or you can use a wrench. Okay, let's see if it's enough to, and you can see it already starting to loosen up, but it's not enough. So let's get that bolt out. We gotta get it further in here. Let's get that bolt out and get that bracket out of the way. Alright guys, got the bolt out, and this thing still won't come out. It's got a pin on it, so you got to make sure you just back it straight out, and it's got that little pin on it right there, like a cotter pin or something that's guiding in there. So then to put the bolt there, we're going to put this to the party line. Then we can finish taking out our 10 millimeter bolts. Alright guys, we got all 5 of our 10 millimeter bolts, also the same length. You definitely want to replace your head bolts. Do not reuse head bolts. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is you're going to grab your 15 millimeter shallow 1/2-inch drive, your 1-inch wobble extension. Now wobble extension looks like a ring pop on the end, and it allows your socket to swivel like that, and a 2-inch.
That was an interesting analogy.
I know, I like you like that. Okay, what we're gonna do here, and the reason why you use that swivel because that one way in the back over there. The one way back here. See, that little swivel allows you to. You definitely want to make sure that socket is on that bolt. You strip that out, man. That's a wrap. Make sure it's all the way on. Okay, that one's loosening up. Okay, it's loosened up enough. And then you want to just go ahead and loosen up the other ones. Now the other ones you might not need that wobble up there. Now when you loosen these up, which is a good idea, after that, a good idea is to loosen up the, now I did that one, but loosen up the outsides, then start working your way in. And when you tighten it up, you want to start from the center. But don't worry about that, I'll show you that later. Right now it's good an idea to loosen up the outsides and then work your way in. So I actually should have went up to this one and loosen that up. The reason why I'm just loosening them up is because then I can use a power tool to take them out the rest of the way. Alright, let's get them all loosened up. Alright, now we got them all loose. Now we can go ahead and take them out. We're going to start off with this one back here. And of course, I'm going to have to take this off. Okay. I have to put my extension back on. Go up to this one, and then I'm gonna go over to this one, and then the outside one, and then work my way, keep on working my way to the center one. All right, let's get them all out. All right, guys, we got all the bolts loose. Now we can go ahead and take them out. And what you want to do is take them out, and all of them are going to be the same length, so you don't have to worry about it. You can check them if you want. Just pull them all out. And as you take them out, put them side to side with the one, with the others. And then got the last 4 back here. Okay, your head should be loose. All right, let's put this down. You just saw me rock the cylinder head. Go ahead. Pick it up with the gasket and all. Watch out for the ground strap. And let's go ahead and take this out here. Don't set it down like this. Well, you can set it down like this as long as the head gasket is still in place. And actually, those dowel pins, I guess they're going to stay in there. Usually they stay inside the block. See if we're going to take one of them out. But let's set this down to the side for now. Yeah, they should definitely be in the block. We're going to definitely have to take those out. Looks pretty well. The car ran good. It just, well, except for that misfire. So let's put this down to the side and let's go take a look at those lifters. Alright, your lifters are down in there, 2 in there, 2 in there, 2 in there, 2 in there. You got 10mm bolts right here, each of them. Just get those 10mm bolts out. Take this cover and pull up. There's our crummy lifters. Then you're going to have the active lifters are going to be on this cylinder, cylinder 1 and cylinder 7 back there. You notice how those are sticking up and not those two. So what we're going to do is set this, take this one off and take this one off. Okay, these came out. Come on. At all. So let's bring this over here. Now, what I'm going to do is make sure I put that down because I know that goes over here. Pop this out. Pop this out. Now these two are good. Now this is where I'm going to talk to. You know what? Let's put these back in here. And before we put these back in here, notice how it has a kind of like a side right here that has a little notch sticking out, and then the other side is flat. So you want to make sure you put them back in there because on the bottom, on these casings right here, there's a little notch out right there, and then the other side is flat. So you want to make sure when you put the new ones back in, it's that way. Where the heck are we? Okay, and let's put that one in there. Now let's put, this is number 4, we know that one. Let's put this to the side and then we're gonna go up there and take out the ones that's bad. Alright, let's pull out these two. We got this one and that one. And this is the one that was sunk. Wow, look at it, look at that. See this, how that one sprung out? This one's collapsed. If I probably hit that, it'll probably snap right up. But let's find out. Let's see something here. This an extension. Let's see if it. There it is. Snapped right up. Wow. Now, this is a real stupid design, man, if you ask me. So now we're gonna have to call the customer. We're gonna ask the customer. We can replace. You know what? I shouldn't even give the customer the option on this. I should just replace all 4. Or do he wants to go ahead for us to go ahead and pull off the other cylinder head and change all 8. You don't have a problem with the other lifters. The other lifters are hydraulic lifters. They're not made like this junk right here. They won't collapse like that. So we're gonna find out what the customer says. Let's put these over here. We don't need those no more. And while we're taking that break, which is a good time to go ahead and clean all this up. Don't use any kind of really rough abrasives, because you'll mess this thing up, man. And one very important thing, once you get all this cleaned up, take your air and blow inside the holes where the bolts go in, because if you leave antifreeze in there, it will throw off the torque. Believe it or not, it will completely throw off the torque, and all of a sudden you're gonna have antifreeze leaking on site. You got to clean those holes out. All right, let's check this out. See what we're gonna do. All right, we spoke to the customer, and I'm glad the customer is gonna go this route, but he wants us to change all 8 of the active lifters. So guys, you don't really need to see this side. We're going to pull this apart, but there are some things I'm going to show you that you got to take off to make it easy accessible. One, you're going to have 2 cooling heater cooling hoses right here. These hoses, now you don't want to really mess with the plastic fittings back there, because you mess with them and they break, you're in trouble. So just actually, wait a minute. You know what? We're gonna do it another way. Go to the other side, and I'm gonna try to do this way. Okay. We're gonna try to disconnect them from right here. You have the white fitting, and then on the back you got a black one. Can you see that tab right there? Mm-hmm. There's one right there, and there's one on the other side. If I can squeeze both of them together, instead of getting a tool and put it, if I can squeeze both of them together, I should be able to pull that line right out. And a good way I can do that is using my hose pliers. And I'm gonna try to go around and squeeze them together. Nope, I don't think I'm squeezing in the other side. What is? Good thing we got the pan down there. Holy cow. Alright, that's one. Leave that to the side. And then 2. Put that focus on. Let's get that to the side. That is cool. It's also, this one's black and this one's all kind of messed up. So we got that to the side. Alright. Now, let's get to the front of the engine. Alright, the next thing we're going to have to do is there is a ground strap right here going to the battery, and then there's a small one here that's probably feeding the ECM or the coils. So remember that one right there, and it's got a 15mm. Now that's got a nut. The whole stud and everything should come out of there. Okay, there they go, just like that. Move to the side, put the stud right back in there. Alright, and now we have one more thing to disconnect. Alright, one more thing. The oil dipstick tube. Now if you notice, the oil dipstick tube, it's got a bracket.
Oh.
Can you...
Trying to find your hand, okay.
If you want to switch to this side, it'd be better. Because I can go to the front, and so you can view it like this.
Oh, okay.
Alright, hold on guys, we'll be right back. Alright, we have our oil dipstick tube, and we have this bracket that's welded to the dipstick tube, and there's a bolt to the side of the cylinder head right there. There's a 15mm bolt. And what we got to do is remove, twist this, and hopefully the dipstick tube will just swing back and forth and slide out of the block. The reason why we have to do that is because the other end is, the dipstick tube is actually going between the exhaust manifold. It's actually going between down there. So that's going to be a problem. So let's get our 15mm deep 3/8 drive. And then let's get this bolt out. Oops, about to drop. It's okay. Let's get our bolt. Okay. Now, this is where it gets kind of messed up. I should be able to grab this bracket and swing this side to side. Look at that. Perfect. So just twist it, and you want to start picking up on the dipstick, and the whole thing will come right out of the side of the block. And pay attention to this little O-ring right there. Be sure that O-ring is there, because if it's not, or it's broken, worn out, dry rotted and broken, you're going to have oil leaking everywhere. Alright, that's it. Other than that, everything else is the exact same way as the left side. So when we come back, we're going to have all this apart. Alright guys, I got a little trick for you. This side is a little different. To remove the coils, remember this whole set down here? This bolt's way back in there, man. And that bolt, there it is, it's down there. That thing sucks. So I said, you know what? As you can see, I started disconnecting this coil already. And what I'm going to do here is take these bolts out of this coil. And I got a little trick. I should have applied this to the other side as well. Move that coil out of the way. And now what we're going to do here is, let's go around this way. We got a bolt right there, right up under there. These are valve cover bolts. One right there. And that bracket might be in the way. No, it might come up. Number 3. And then number 4 right inside there. So what about if we unbolted the valve cover and left the coil, all the coils up there? Now if this works, that should have been cool, man. So let me get those 4 bolts, the same bolts as on the left side. Let me get those bolts loosened up, removed, and then we're going to see if this comes up. Alright, I got them all loose except for this one right here, the 3rd one. Now, because that bracket, let me make sure I'm looking at you right. This bracket is stopping that bolt from coming all the way up. So what I did was physically loose all the other ones, pick it up. Now I can take that bolt out and look at that, man. That is sweet. Look at that. So I could have did that to the other side as well. Let's set that down. And that is cool, man. So also, what I might do is that, being that we took the exhaust manifold out on the other side, one of the bolts over there is like, we got to remove the O2 sensor to get to. So now that we got the exhaust manifold out on the left, I'm going to loosen up, take out all these bolts on the exhaust manifold. And that should drop the exhaust system down and out of the way. If not, then we're going to be in trouble. Got a O2 sensor. But let's see if that works. If I have an issue, I will come back to you and show you what we did. Alright guys, I just want to show you this. I took the bolts out. As you can see, the exhaust manifold dropped all the way down, and I have easy access to those 5 bolts down there, and they will not interfere with me torquing them down. And that's it. Everything else is the same on the other side. I'm getting ready to take out the head bolts and take these out. Alright guys, we got both heads off. We cleaned it up. Looks nice and good. And I cleaned inside the pistons. And I put our alignment pins back in here. Dowel pins, you want to call them, whatever you want to call them, on all 4. Now again, do not use any kind of scraper or anything to get these off. You don't want to damage the block or anything. So what I did was use these wire brush, a smaller wire brush, and we have this extension right here. And what I did was put it on my cordless impact. Either I can put it regular, or I use that with the extension to get down and do the top of the cylinder pistons. That's why they look so darn good. Alright, now the next thing we're going to do is install our lifters. Now while you're looking right here, this is a good time to tell you about these. Okay. Yeah. A screwdriver, but can you see those lifters right there?
Yeah.
Now you see on this side, half it's like flat.
Yeah.
And on this side is gonna be flat too. When you put these in and line them up or whatever, they are going to be like that, flat side up. So you want to make sure that they are like that, and I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. First, let's go over the lifters. There's a lot of kits out there. You can get an 8-piece active lifter kit for like $100 and something to $200 something on eBay. Look at the reviews. The reviews are gonna tell you 10 minutes later the things were clacking and ticking, and they had to do the whole job over again. Don't be cheap. GM has a revised lifter for this, and you're gonna make sure that you get the right one. And I'm gonna show you the difference and the part number. All right, here we got our new lifter and our old one. Now there might be more differences between the two, but we were only able to notice one. The other ones might be internal. First of all, you want to make sure you have that part number. If you don't have that part number, that means somebody's selling you old stock, and you might be in trouble. Like that. All right, so let's open it up. And we had opened this one up already and took this one out. Here's a quick test you're going to do, guys. Very quick test. Because if you look at them from the outside, they look identical. Same hole right there, same hole, everything. So how do you know the difference? What you're going to do is take you a deep 9mm socket. Now, on your new one, you take that 9mm socket, it's going to fit right in there. Take it out. Get the old style, it won't go in there. So that's your quick way of testing it instead of putting it in that car. Just do that. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is show you how these go into the lifter retainers. They're little plastic retainers. Alright, here's our 4 lifter retainers, and as you can see, I marked them. They can be mixed up in any kind of way. I just wanted to make sure, just put them back in the way I got them. This one is the left, the first one. Now let's look at this. In the bottom of this, first of all, and I showed you this before, your active lifter is going to go over here. And you're going to notice you're going to know that by, on one side, it's got a little cutout right there. See a little channel right there?
Oh yeah, I see.
That's on, because if you take one of your lifters, right there on that lifter, that slot will go right into there. So you take that one, and it is in, and it'll stay right in there. On your other side, if you notice, instead of being rounded, this side is flat and the upper side is flat. So that lifter has to set in there just like that. That's why we turned it that way. So we're going to pull this out. We're going to lift it out. We're going to pull this out. We got our bolt to hold it down. And let's go install this one right here. Alright, we have two brand new active lifters. We got our little line right there. So what we're going to do is take one. Our channel is down that way. Or we can turn it around and bring it up this way. I want to just make sure it goes in and locks into place. Take the other one. And do the same thing. Alright, now I'm going to bring it over to the car. Make sure your other lifters are straight. Oops, get this thing out of the way, think. You can see those, they look straight?
Yeah.
Now guys, if you try to take those out and put them in here, they're not going to stick. They're not going to stay. So that's why we do it this way. Matter of fact, let me pull out one. Okay. We got one. And if we stick this one into here, I guess it does stay in there kind of. Alright, let's try that. That thing come out, boy. It's in trouble. Now, you might figure, why does it have to be this way? Why does it do this? You see those rollers at the bottom? They have to roll on the camshaft. They can't be sideways and roll sideways. They got to go like that. Alright, so let's take the whole assembly. Bring it down. Perfect. Down there. Take our 10mm bolt. And bring that down. Alright, now I'm not going to bore you. You saw how I did that. I'm going to go ahead and do the other three. Alright guys, I just got a little trick here to help you remove the lifters that's in there. Get you a nice magnet. Don't get no cheap one, a skinny one.
Can I use a refrigerator magnet?
Yes, you could go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, use a refrigerator, grab one from the refrigerator. Alright, so in this way, you just go down there, grab, hook it onto the lifter, and pick it right up.
Really?
Really. Just like that. Alright guys? Alright, we got all four in. The next thing we need to do is torque those down. And these bolts are 10mm bolts. They are torqued down to 116 inch-pounds.
106.
106?
Yeah.
Okay.
106 inch-pounds or
wait a minute.
12 Newton meters.
You told me 116 before.
I don't think I said 116.
You told me it's 116. Jesus Christ,
man.
man.
How did I just get 106?
No, man.
Or is it just that you weren't listening?
No, I was listening.
Were you?
Because I said 116. You said, yep.
106.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6. 106 inch-pounds.
Or 12 Newton meters.
Alright, so let's get those torqued down. Alright. Get the one over here. Well, you can't see that one, but yeah, I'll get this one. Alright, and let's get the other two tightened up. Alright guys, now it's time to install your your head gaskets. Now if you get a good set, I don't know how the cheap ones are, but definitely get you a good set. This is a Molly set, get definitely that. Molly is marked the front, so we know that's going to be the front of the engine. So it's very easy. If you don't have that, if you don't have front, I'm on this side, so this is going to be the front. Another way of noticing, doing it is, right above this bolt hole, you see that big opening right there. In the front of it, it's not there. You're only going to see his little bitty hole, same thing over there. You won't see that. So make sure that is towards the back of the engine. On either side, it's going to be the back. But hopefully you got a good thing. It's a good set. Now you want to place your head gasket over your locating pins, or dowel pins, whatever you want to call them. Set them down just like that. Now before we get our cylinder head and set that on, very, very important, I'm going to tell you again, make sure you get some air and clean out all the bolt holes. If you did not and you got antifreeze or something down in there, it will throw off your torque and this head gasket will fail within a short period of time. So definitely make sure you do that. All right, I'm not gonna set this side on yet. We're gonna set the head on this one, and I'm not even gonna show you doing that because it's the same thing. So let's go get our cylinder head. All right, guys, this is another very important step right here. When you tighten your head bolts on, when you start torquing this down, there's a good chance that it'll just get really tight up against the surface right here. And when you go to tighten, it go squeak, and it'll mess you up. So what you want to do is take a little dab of oil and just put it around each of the holes. Now those are the easy ones, but then you got the 5 that's down there. Make sure there's no dirt or anything.
Can I use a Q-tip?
Yeah, you could definitely use a Q-tip as well. And again, it don't have to be a lot of oil, just a little bit. Okay, and then you got your small bolts up here. Alright, set this down. Now setting the cylinder head on the vehicle, it's best that you get in the vehicle, set the cylinder head up on the radiator support somewhere, and then get in there. You do not want this cylinder head to scar up that head gasket because it will damage it and leak. So set your cylinder head up somewhere.
Don't slide it.
Huh?
So don't slide it.
Right, don't slide it into position. So you want to get up in there. And let's bring this over this side. Or have 2 people doing it. Let's get our ground strap and make it out of the way. Now, luckily, the cylinder heads are light because they're aluminum. So, once you get in position, bring the head over. Just like that. Can you pass me a box of forgot to have the head bolts up here as well, because this thing, it's impossible. It can slide off, isn't it? So hold that in place. Get your new head bolts. What the heck is that?
Looks like some fell out.
Yeah. Alright, so get. Now these head bolts come with sealer already on them. I didn't put nothing in there. So you should just take, it doesn't matter which hole you put them into. Just put it in there. Turn it a couple threads so you know it's in place. Alright, now remember, this row and the bottom row are the big bolts. The top row is the little bolts. Alright, let's get all of them started in there. Alright, for this step right here, you're going to need a deep 15, a deep 10, 4-inch 3/8 drive extension, and you can use a regular ratchet. I'm going to use a stub ratchet. What we're going to do is bring these bolts down just till they barely stop. You don't want to go down and tighten it at all, because this the heads are torqued down in 3 sequences. Number 1 is 22 foot-pounds. Number 2 is 90 degrees. And number 3 is 70 degrees. Now go back to number 1. Number 1 is 22 foot-pounds. That is hardly anything. So you don't want to torque bring these down because you can easily bring them down over 22. Now, this diagram right here, it shows you which order to tighten up them bolts. So at this point, take a picture or pause this video at this point, and I don't know what you want to do. Whatever, you do it that way. Now, yeah. Let me tell you. Just go that way. Now, so what I'm gonna do here. Now, these up here, those are torqued last. These are the main ones right here. But we are gonna bring them in. So we're gonna start off. Because instead of having the torque wrench and sitting here bringing all the way down, really don't. It's, with that word you use, counterproductive. So just want to bring that down just till it stops, just like that, and then go follow the diagram and do the sequence and do all of these first. And then you saw it. Then do the ones at the top. All right. So let's get all those brought down. All right, guys. First thing is the first step is 22 foot-pounds.
Oh, 30 newton meters.
30 newton meters. Now that's the big bolts. Do not touch those little bolts yet. And go by your diagram. Now, the one bolt way back there is kind of difficult to reach. So here's a little tip. A 4-inch 3/8 drive extension and a shallow 15mm socket. Also, another thing. Come around this side. The new head bolts have a bigger head on the bottom right there. So this little piece right here was in the way, and that's all you had to do. I had to do was loosen that up. It was down like that, and the socket couldn't fit in there. So that's all I do is loosen that 10mm bolt up, pick that up, and swing that right out of the way. So let's get back over here. Again, have your diagram with you.
You're blocking a number.
Here.
Okay.
So let's start off at number 1, which is in the center, and we're going to go 22 foot-pounds. And a good point, guys. Use this hand to hold the head of the ratchet. This is going to give you some kind of support. Don't just go like this, or you can slip off, or you can mess up. So hold it like that. 22. Go down to number 2. Up here to number 3, and continue on to do all those. Again, don't touch the little ones. All right, let's get those done. All right, guys, the next step on tightening up these heads, torquing them down, is 90 degrees. You're going to need an angle torque wrench. There's 2 ways of doing this. One, you can get this one right here. This is called the brown line. I think it's like between $80 and $90. And what happens is, it's very simple to use. I'll turn it towards you to look at. What you do is you cut it on. You got to let it sit there on something flat first to let it calibrate. It's going to calibrate. And once it calibrates, it's good to go. Alright, matter of fact, it's already set to 90 degrees. And the way this works, in case you haven't doing this one. So you want one of your bolts. This is a magnetic under here. So it magnetizes to your ratchet. And I'm gonna do one right here. So here's you get. You're getting ready. You don't gotta worry about nothing now. So you're on your bolt. Okay, now I'm ready to go 90 degrees. You hit select again. It's going to tighten up and tighten up and tighten. You see as it counting up. And then when it get close to the 90 degrees. Done. Now what I also like about this is, say if you're in a tight spot, which you would do, and you need to stop and turn around. This tool calibrates for that. Now watch this. We're on another one. Ready? Hit it. So I'm turning. So I hit a line or something in the way. Now I'm starting to recalibrate again. I wait, start off where I left off, and see how it keeps on going until I reach that point again. This is definitely a cool tool, especially when you're on a tight area. That is great. Now let me show you what we're going to be using. Alright, we're going to be using our Quinn digital torque wrench. It measures multiple things. This is not no review video. Alright, on this one, just cut it on. Now you make sure you cut it on so it can calibrate right there. Oh, dang it, I got this thing turned around. Oh, no, it's right there. So right now, it's at 70 degrees. Now I hit this button over here. It will change to what I want, but I want the 70 degrees, and I want the memory. I can go up. And set it to 90 degrees. And we are good to go. We are ready to go ahead and set up and torque these bolts down. Alright, let's start off on number one. Okay, now 90 degrees right here. As I turn this, as soon as I start applying pressure, this is going to turn to 0, and then it's going to start angle. Now if I go up to here and I'm about to hit this and let loose, that's going to stop, and so I can reset myself. So definitely you want something like that. But before we do that, let me get something to stand on over here so I can reach over there. I know it's going to be kind of difficult to record because this thing is so distance from here to here. And if you have one of these torque wrenches, guys, pay attention to the instructions. Don't grab it by no handle. You're going to throw it off. Grab it by here. All right, let's go ahead. Number one. Okay, now you see how I hit? Stop at 30. Let it go. See how it stays right at 30. And I continue on. 65. Oh, getting close. 90 degrees. Perfect. Let's do one more together. And then you're gonna be on your own. Oops. Sorry guys, gotta reset that one. Let me you know what, before I do that, I gotta reset that 90 degrees. But let me tighten that one back up to 22 because I definitely turned that and went to 94 degrees. And I'm gonna shut that back. I supposed to have reset that back to 90. So let me loosen up that one bolt. And wherever my socket is, I don't know. Alright, I'm still already set to. Okay, now let's set that back to 22. Okay. Now let's go over here back. Alright, now I just reset it back to 90. And we go ahead. Okay, there we go. And now we go continue on with the rest of them. Alright, the next step is 70 degrees. I got our torque wrench set to 70 degrees. We're going to do those two, and then you're going to be on your own. Do not do those 10 millimeters yet. And I'm going to tell you why after we get this done. Alright, so let's go to the first one over here. Okay. Man, these bolts are tight. Okay. Let's go through this one down here. Hit the reset. Crease. All right. Man, this sucks. Let's do the other 8. All right, last but not least, we have the 5 10mm bolts that we have to do. Now, why didn't I torque those down on the first step along with the others? Because, guys, it's pretty much common sense on this. You know? Say this piece of paper is a gasket. If you have big bolts over here and you torque all these down to 22, they're going to go down flat like that. Now, if you go down an extra 90 degrees and then 70 degrees over on these big bolts, whatever this gasket is or whatever's on it, you're actually pushing it down even more. You're flattening that MLS gasket. Now, what happens to those little bolts when you do that? When you push that down, them little bolts now are all loose. So why do all of them together? What you got to do is bring all the big ones down so now it's completely flattened where it's at, where it's going to be at, and then you tighten up those, and those are going to be a true 22 foot-pounds of torque. Did I explain it pretty much?
Yep.
So
30 Newton meters.
Or 30 Newton meters. Now on these, you're going to go 1. This is the center one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or whatever one you want. I don't care. Let's get in here. Now look how loose those bolts were. Now remember, when I brought all of them down to they stop, look how much I was able to turn that. That's because this thing brought that down even more. So that's why you want to do that. Alright, let's get the others done. Alright, this side is done. Now we're going to take a little break from filming because it doesn't make no sense in me showing you to do the other side, and it's the exact same thing, but it is the exact same thing. So let's get the cylinder head over there on. Let's get it torqued down, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Alright guys, we got this head on. Everything is coming out great. The next thing we're going to do is, you didn't see me take this apart, but I'm going to put my exhaust manifold back on over here. Now remember, this one is still attached to wide pipe, so I got it. So that'd be good. You're going to have, don't worry about this because I'm going to show you on the other side. You're going to have your MLS gasket, multi-layered steel gasket. Do not get that one that it looks metal, but it's cardboard on the inside. And you can definitely tell by that when you see the metal part, you see a whole bunch of bumps everywhere in there. Don't get that. Don't get it. And these gaskets, it's cool because actually on one, it'll tell you, here's the manifold side. And that's the exhaust manifold. And over here, it tells you this side, right? This one is down. So I know it's going to go on just like that. I just want to show you what I'm doing, tell you what I'm doing over here to get back to it. And then I'm going to, I took my ground strap off over here. I'm going to put that back on. And we got to remember, somewhere around here, I took off another ground going to that. I gotta find it because I took off 2 ground wires here, and definitely want to make sure you put all that back. Dang it. Where is it? Now it makes me start wondering, did I take 2 grounds already?
There was 2. I remember.
Alright, we got one. Well, we're gonna find it in a few minutes, and then I'll let you know where it's at. I mean, dang it, couldn't get nowhere out here. And I'm gonna put the dipstick tube back in. Where the heck is that ground wire? I mean, you figure everything would have been branched off of here, and I guess not. Wait a minute. There it is. Right there. There's a ground wire. So, good. Got that. And put that in there. Alright, so let's get that on, and yeah, let's get that on.